Today I'd like to share my architecture journey and reflect on my past projects, seeing what I do differently and so on. So when I first started architecture school, I generally thought good design just meant making something that looked impressive. And to some degree, I do believe that this is true. But more importantly, it's about how it works, how it feels, and why it even exists in the first place. For this final studio, I decided to revisit my very first project. I'll put a picture of it on screen right now. But instead of just pulling out old drawings, I said, why not just make it in Minecraft? And honestly, that feels symbolic, because that's exactly how I was designing back then. Just placing blocks and stacking forms, making shapes that felt interesting without really understanding structure, circulation, or how someone would actually move through my space. In my first project, I cared a lot about the outside. I wanted it to stand out, and I wanted to feel bold. What I realize now is that I was designing an object, not a space someone could actually live in. And somewhere along the way, probably after a few humbling critiques, that started to shift. I stopped asking, does this look cool? And started asking, does this make sense? That shift changed everything. I learned that architecture is more about editing than it is adding. Rebuilding this project in Minecraft makes that obvious. In the game, you can break something instantly and rebuild it. In Studio, rebuilding takes hours, but the process is still the same. You try something, you step back, you realize it's not going to work, and you change it. And that's something I wish I understood earlier, that tearing your project apart isn't failure, but rather it's a part of a process. If I could go back and talk to first year me, I'd tell myself to slow down. Stop trying to prove something with form, and start thinking about the spaces you've created. And honestly, don't take yourself so seriously. Architecture school is one of the few places where you can experiment wildly and try ideas that would never survive in the real world. People always like to say don't go too crazy, but honestly, I would say go all out. This is a time to make weird stuff, to fail, and to learn from it. And another thing is to not take critiques personally. Those tough moments are the ones that force you to think deeper and adjust. Now, when I look back at that first project and rebuild it, I can see everything I do so differently. But funnily enough, I also wouldn't erase that first version, because that version is the beginning. And growth only matters when you can look back and see the difference. I don't design the same way anymore. Instead, I question more, and I focus on intention instead of just impact. Architecture isn't about stacking blocks. It's about building ideas that hold up over time. And if these past years have taught me anything, it's that you're never really done designing. You're just constantly rebuilding a little better each time. That's what this Minecraft build represents. Not just where I started, but how far I've come and how much further I still have to go.